All right, testing sound. Are we here? Let me check. Why do I always say this? uh, it looks like we're set. Oh, and I was freaking out. My Stream Deck stopped working, and but it turns out that it was just because I had updated OBS. So I think we're good. I think we're good. Well. Let me get set up. Ah, yes. So. What are we? Where are we? Where are we? Graphic Spider custom acrylic fabrication. Hello, good to meet you, and thanks for the word. Or modification to one of your designs. Okay, yeah, sure. What is the question here? And Tim, is this Tim Designs? How are you doing? Yes, we're gonna do a very cool project today. And uh, Jarudi, hey, good to see you. I love your emojis. And Gis Wiggins, yes, all the content that we record is always available, so you will be able to watch this live stream offline in the future, and you will be able to see the video that we're going to record after this again as well. All right. So, what are we doing today? Well, let's start with the basics. Three, two, one. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another live stream. This is Parametric Camp. If you're new to the channel, we do computational design, which basically means we do cool stuff with code. And well, the color balance is off. Let me fix that in, right. Where can I do that? I always have this problem. I'm always fixing the camera, and yes, exactly. And where do we want the white balance? Do we want the white balance here or here or here? No, not here, right? Somewhere here. I like this one. Okay. All right. I always have to change it. I wish it stayed fixed. All right. So what was I saying? Oh, and this thing, the green screen. I broke my green screen. So did you see this thing here? You see this patch here? This patch here is basically green tape that I bought to fix the green screen. I'm such a cheap. Anyway, I just really like this green screen, so I don't want to get another one. So I was saying, yes, if you're new to the channel, what we do is we record tutorials. We do it live here in the company of beautiful people like I'm meeting in the chat today. And then after that, we just edit them and we publish them as slightly more polished videos. Not quite, but whatever. We typically do this on Friday mornings, East Coast time. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, so that's where I stream from. And if you want to know when we go live, you can follow us on social media. We're particularly active on Instagram and Discord. There is a link to the Discord server here in the description of this video if you want to join the conversation throughout the week and you want to be notified of when do we go live. And there's also a Google Calendar link in the description of this video that you can check or you can add to your calendar, and then you will get an event when we go live. Okay. So, is there a way to specify the arrangement of the material to be cut? That process is typically called nesting, and there are a lot of different softwares that give you different algorithms for optimizing the layout of those parts. So it's actually not a trivial thing to do. Writing something from scratch here in the channel will take quite some time, but there's a lot of Rhino Nest is one of them, for example. Yeah. Manuna, thank you. Thanks everyone for the kind words. So what are we doing today? Oh my God, I'm so excited. We are going to do this really cool project, which is going to be basically using ChatGPT to go through a pile of receipts or tickets, like the typical receipt that you get in the grocery store, and then parse them and create a CSV file with all that data. All right. So what does that mean? Let me show you. Let me show you something. So where are we? Here. Let me show you something. So I'm a little bit of a psycho. So OCD. So I have a car. All right. So, and every time I put gas in the car, I keep the receipt. All right. So what you can see here is basically the receipts for gas for roughly 2023 for last year, right? So I kept all the receipts, and then I was asking myself, so how much money do I spend in gas every year? So I had two options, right? Had the option of like just going through all the receipts, writing down and adding the numbers, or of course being nerdy about this and then use some write some scripts, some tools to help me figure this out. So what I did was I wrote this thing that takes. So I took photos of each one of the receipts. So one at a time, like this, right? And then I wrote a script that basically goes through all the receipts. It uploads the receipt to ChatGPT and it asks for particular questions about that receipt. So what was the total amount? What was the date of the receipt, etc., etc. And then I wrote, I and then I saved that data as a CSV file. So what you can see here is basically the name of each one of the images, and then the date of the receipt, the time of the receipt, what was the gas station, what was the address of the gas station, how many gallons of gas did I put. All of this data, this was generated by ChatGPT. All right. And basically, I think it took like 1 or 2 minutes to go through the entire data set of, and the code looks something like this. So it's basically a Node app that takes in a few libraries. Then it has this prompt, which is what we're asking ChatGPT to do with each receipt. I will get into the details of that. And then the rest is basically stuff like going through a folder full of images and then submitting each one of those images to ChatGPT using a post request. And we have seen that in previous videos here in the channel. And then after that, basically taking the response and then parsing that response to generate the CSV file. Okay. So what I want to do today in the channel is basically write that together with all of us. So the idea being that I would like to, first of all, I did that a few months ago, and I think ChatGPT has changed the API since then. So we need to go over the repo and then fix things to make it work. And then I would like to rebuild this with all of us together in a way that it can be understood, that can be replicated by other people. Maybe I did it with gas receipts, so maybe other people want to do it with grocery receipts or shopping, clothing, whatever. I don't know. All right. But I think it's a very cool idea. I was very, very satisfied when when I made it work. So this is what we're gonna try today. Okay. All right, beautiful. So where are we going to start? Oh, we're going to start by trying the code and see if it works. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a terminal in the folder where I have this on my computer, right? So if I type this, you can see that this is the main file, gas bills. So I'm going to say node gas bills, and then let's see if this works. Requesting an image, error, error, another error. So yes, so something needs an update. So one thing that was cool about this was that when I implemented it, I implemented this idea of logging the responses and logging the console. So in the responses, you can see that what I'm getting back from ChatGPT is this idea that the model GPT-4 Vision Preview has been deprecated, all right? Which means that the model that I was using back in the times is not around anymore. So let's see if we can find a substitute for that. So I'm going to go to openai.com, vision, ChatGPT. All right, so what we got here? Okay, so it looks like ChatGPT, GPT Mini, and GPT-4 Turbo, they have vision capabilities. So I guess it's just as simple as replacing this. So let me take a look at the API. Uploading base 64, multiple image inputs. Take multiple images. Lower high fidelity image understanding. Role user content. What is this? Image detail high. Managing images. Okay. Calculating costs. Okay. Well, what did I have? So in gas bills, what model was I using? So request the GPT-4 Vision Preview. So I wonder if we want to use ChatGPT 4.0. Okay, so see if that works. So let me do this again. Then I'm going to do node and then gas bills and then see if this works. Image. Oh, something is happening. Oh, I got something. We're liking this. Yes. So the file, the date, the confidence, the address, the number of gallons. Okay, so it's working. All right. Beautiful. So let me just make sure that the message is request body, model, and messages. So the model is the same, messages, role, user, content type, text, the image URL, maximum tokens 1,000. And then let's see. Okay, so let's talk about image quality. By controlling the detail parameter, which has you have control over how the model processes generates. By default, the model will use the auto setting, which will look at the image input size and decide if it should use low or high, which I think is what we have already. Low will enable low resolution, high will first allow the model to, which first allows the model to first see the low res and then creates detailed crops using 170 tokens per each chunk. Okay. Chat is not stateful. Managing images limitations. The short side of the image should be less and the long side should be less than 2000. For long-running conversions, just passing images via URLs instead of base64, the latency can be done by... Yeah, we're not gonna care about this. I don't care spending a little bit of money. So let me log in to see how much were those requests actually. Let me log in. Oh, oh boy. Okay, I'm not a robot. Okay, whatever. I'm still... Am I a robot or not? So one of these... Yeah, one of these. This is very dumb. I don't know why I have to do this. Okay, so dashboard usage. Well, I think each one of them costs about 1 cent. No, is that today? Yes. Activity. All right. Can I not see a breakdown? Uh, I want to see a breakdown of what have I done today. No, I guess I can't. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, we'll just keep it there. Okay. All right, well, then in that case, let me think first about what the video is going to look like. The video, this project is actually fairly long, so I think I don't want to make a video where I actually go through everything and I explain everything. I think what I would like to do is maybe we do the typing and we do the writing of and the explanation of what's going on. We do it on this live stream, but then in the video we basically just write chunks of things incrementally so that we write step by step what is going on. And then we talk about it in the video, but we don't write it synchronously, okay? And then after that, what we can probably do is we can refer people to, if you want to see how we build the whole thing, just come and watch here in the live stream. I think that's what we're going to do, I think. Yeah, probably that's what we're going to do. Okay. So then I am going to shut this down. And then we're going to record an introduction, which I have to have somewhere. Where is my intro reminder? Where is my reminder? Here. Record introduction. Okay, so I'm going to write here and then the intro. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over to the side so that I can have it here. And then I'm going to remove this, don't save. And then I am going to receipt parser. And then I'm going to here, I'm going to write, I'm going to paste here the images folder. And this is the images for all the receipts, okay? So these are all the receipts, receipts. Fantastic. And then what I'm going to do is the first part of the video is going to be, I created this folder, I created this thing, and I added that thing, and then I went in here, I started a note project, and then I created a project called parse receipts, and then I created that file, and then I'm going to go into that file. I think that sounds about right. Okay. Okay. That sounds about right. Okay, beautiful. Let's do this. So I'm going to start recording chunks of this video. Okay, let's get started, and let's start by building the project. Starting starting over again. All right, let's get started, and let's start by creating the framework, the infrastructure that we're going to need in order to start this project. So what I've done is I've created this new folder. I just call it receipt parser, and inside I have created a folder called images, and inside of these images I've basically pasted all the photos of all the receipts that I took with my phone. So as you can see, I went one by one, and then I took a photo like as frontal as possible with my phone. I tried to do it in as high resolution as possible, because if you have a high resolution images, you can always create lower resolution, but the other way it doesn't work, obviously, right? So I basically create like as frontal and as clear as I could of an image for each one of the receipts. Okay, so this took about 5 minutes, but I think it was good. And then what I'm going to do now is we're going to build this project using Node.js, just because I really like this. You could use Python, same thing. And the way I'm going to do this is that I'm going to open a terminal here in the folder that I have. You can see that the folder only has the images folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kickstart a Node project by using npm init. What this does is that it basically creates like a set of files that start this project, and the package name is going to be called receipt parser. The description is going to be whatever, and then I'm going to start it with a file that is called parse receipts, and everything else I'm just going to go with the defaults. All right, and then you can see that I already have a package JSON file, and I'm going to create a new file here that I'm going to call parse receipts, and then that's going to be a JavaScript file. All right, beautiful. The moment I do that, I can open an instance of Visual Studio Code, and then I can drag my entire folder in Visual Studio Code. And you can see that I now have the package.json file, which has nothing right now on it, and the parse receipt files, which is empty. Okay. But technically speaking, I have a Node.js project right now with all the elements that I need. So I could technically say node parse receipts, and then I could start my project from the terminal, right? The parse receipts has nothing right now in it, so we're going to start adding some code to make parse receipts work. All right, beautiful. So as I said, we're going to be building this incrementally here in the live stream. And then for the video recording, I'm basically just going to walk through incrementally the parts that we're going to be building on. Okay, so I'm going to add here. Damn it! What am I doing? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be adding a few libraries here. Okay. And then after that, what is the first thing that we're going to do? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over all the folders. Parse images. We're going to go over all the folders. We're going to go over all the images in the folder, and we're going to print their names to the console. Okay, I think that's where we're going to start. So that's going to be something like this. So we're going to say, okay, so we're going to create a function that is going to be called parse images with ChatGPT. All right. And then we're going to, okay, so const files is going to be equal to fs.read file sync. So what we're doing here is we're basically no, sorry, read directory, read their sync, exactly. And then actually I'm going to call these images, why not? Yes. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to create the file paths is going to be exactly, we're going to join then, and then we're going to print them to the console for let I equals, and then we're just going to print this to the console. So that's going to be file paths dot. Okay, so we're going to say found this image files. Okay, and if we do that and we run this up, oh, because we're not calling it parse images with ChatGPT. Okay. All right. So that is looking good. Okay, I think we can start with this. Is there a better way to have this? So what if I want to run a terminal? Is there a way to dock this terminal? PowerShell? No, too many PowerShells. No. Okay, so VS Code have terminal in tab. Add terminal by selecting the plus icon on the top right of the terminal panel, selecting a profile from the terminal dropdown, and then trigger, or there's another entry in the tab associated with that. All right. I don't understand. Control Shift 5, Control Shift 5. Okay, terminal, start terminal. But I want this terminal window to be here. That's what I'm trying to do. Split terminal, I don't want to split the terminal. Do I want to split the terminal? Is that what I want? No, that's not what I want. VS Studio Code have a terminal with the other tabs. I don't even know how to ask this. Enable or disable VS Code integrated terminal. Is it possible to get tabs inside of the select list when using multiple terminals from the integrated? I don't know what that is. Advanced terminal usage. Is it possible to detach the terminal window from VS Code? That's what I want. Now is directly possible. See the following, including Control K O. Control K O. Open folder. No, Control K O. I don't know what that did. Maybe we could make modules to shorten the file, and see the topics in the Explorer. I don't know what you mean with that, Tim. I know I've done this before. Enable preview editor, show open editors. I know that I've actually done this. Move terminal into editor area. What? Move terminal into editor area. Where is that? Terminal settings. Where is that? With screenshot, split terminal, move terminal. Move terminal into, there you go. All right, and then this one, can we close it? Can we close this one? All right, beautiful. So if I do now parse receipts, very good. Very good. Fantastic. And then what if I do the opposite? And because I'm here, all right. So then I get the stuff here. And now, but this one I cannot zoom in. Oh, I don't like that. No, I want to be able to zoom in. Okay, so in that case, then we're going to not do this. And we're just going to do it like this then. Okay. Is there any way to dock this? There you go. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to do this. Okay. And then we're going to just load some libraries here. Okay. Beautiful. So what are we going to do now? We're going to keep recording the video. All right. Actually, this arrangement of windows is not going to work because then the moment we start getting stuff here, it's going to be right behind me. So can I do this? Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's do it like that. And then we're going to have this here. Fantastic. The first thing that I've done is I have created the baseline of my Node project, which is going to be just basically going through the images folder and figuring out all the names of the files and just printing them to the console. So for that, I basically loaded some regular system libraries. I created this new function that is called parse images with ChatGPT, because at the end of the day, this function will become the one that calls ChatGPT and does all the parsing. And for the time being, I've just made a very simple functionality. I've just created a very simple functionality, which is basically loading all the files from the images folder and then computing the full paths and then printing those to the console. So if I now run node parse receipts, what you can see is that it's basically printing down all the files, all the images that it found on the images folder. Okay, so very simple. So I think the next thing that we're going to do is that we're now going to try and see how to send these images to ChatGPT. All right. I meant that if the parse visit file is quite long, user-defined local modules in Node.js can help organizing their functions. That is very true. You're right. Yes, very true. Hey, Mexrad, how you doing? Okay, so what are we going to do then? Well, we don't need this anymore. So what we're going to do is for uh, send each image to ChatGPT. Okay, so what are we going to do? The first thing that we're going to do is we need to load the image, but we need to load the image in base64 format. You've seen in previous videos of mine in this channel how in order to send images, the best way is to convert those images to this weird alphanumeric character format, which is called base64. There are reasons why that is particularly useful when you're working with JSON objects and encoding that data that is binary into data that can be represented with characters, because since JSON works with text and with regular characters, encoding binary in such a way turns out to be very convenient. So, but I actually explained that in my other videos. Okay, and then so we're gonna format this. Actually, I'm gonna keep 4 spaces because it just looks better for the screen. Okay, so here, actually no, it doesn't, because I'm gonna start getting a lot of nested stuff. So okay, so then send each image to ChatGPT. So base64 image is going to be write file with the encoding, yes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also measure how long it takes for each one of these requests to, so we're going to use the performance module to start. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create the request body, and that's going to be, the model is going to be ChatGPT, is going to be GPT-4o, okay? And then the messages is going to be an array that is going to contain, and all of this is basically based on the API. So if you remember, what the API is asking for is what is to receive a message that looks something like this, right? So we could be using the module. I don't know why we're not using the module. Response. Actually, could we use the module? Maybe it's just easier for people. Then doing the whole fetching, manual fetching. I guess I would need to, how do I include my key here? How do I include my key? OpenAI npm, the OpenAI library, usage, the client, and the API key, OpenAI API key. This is the default and can be omitted. I actually have it just like that. Actually, OpenAI API key, is that what I do? OpenAI API key. Yes, that's the same name that I have. And chat completion await. So maybe we just use this module, yeah, to make things easier for people. npm install OpenAI. Okay, API install OpenAI. We're going to do that. One package, and then here we're going to add const OpenAI, require OpenAI, no API here. And then what we're going to do is OpenAI client, right? We're going to copy this. I've actually never used this. So OpenAI client, OpenAI, and this is the whatever. I'm just going to leave it here so that it's a bit more visual. And then here, what we're going to do is async, and then we're going to do const response is going to be equal to await OpenAI vision create. The vision OpenAI chat completions create. So, okay, OpenAI client, chat, completions, create, and model. No, I have the model here. Where did I have this? All right, and then I'm going to just copy paste this here. I'm going to format, context, text, what, and we're going to start simple. What is this image here? Image URL, and then that's going to be basically the JSON, just, yeah, okay. Maximum tokens, and yes, and then we're going to console log the response. Response, and then we're going to finish this. We're going to console log the response, and we're going to console log request completed in this many milliseconds. Okay, beautiful. And we're going to do this image here. Okay, beautiful. Does this work? So node parse package, no, node parse, aha, node parse receipts. Okay, so we're sending this. What? Okay. All right, so it's kind of working. Yes. So I'm going to make this to fixed 0. Okay. And then we're going to add a message here. We're going to be message requesting image, and this is going to be file paths dot I. Okay, so we're going to get the response, and then we're going to console log also from the response. We're going to, from the choices, we're going to print the message. Okay. All right, parse receipts, requesting image, blah, blah, blah. Requesting image files. All right. This is a receipt from a Shell gas station located at blah, blah, blah. Here are transaction specifics. Blah, 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 please come again. Thank you. All right. Beautiful. So it looks like it's reading what's in there, which is great. Okay. So it looks like we have something working that is that we are reading the image from the path. We are turning it into a base 64 blob. So that's a bunch of characters. And then we are sending to ChatGPT the request using the client. Actually, I'm just gonna call this client chat completion GPT create, and then the message, and then we're gonna ask what is in this image here, and then we're gonna get this. And I would like to not send all the images because I might be burning through a lot of cache. Uh, so, well, it's fine. Okay, all right. I need to go. I need to take a 1 minute break. I will be right back, and then we're gonna keep recording. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's keep doing this. So, what are we going to do now? So I'm going to show this first image here. I'm gonna have it there. Create an open AI client. All right. Send each image. Convert image to base64 format. And maybe I can do that here. Console request. Send the request to the ChatGPT. The console. Print the response. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. Load some system. Load the OpenAI library. Okay. And create a client. Beautiful. Okay. So this is how we're going to do it. In previous videos, you may have seen me talk to ChatGPT manually, and actually I have a bunch of examples where I did that with Node and with Python, creating the requests completely from scratch. So if you want to see some of those videos, there's going to be a card popping up on the corner of of the screen, and there will also be a description and a link in the description of this video. But for this video, I'm basically going to save myself a little bit of typing and use the tools that already come with OpenAI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the OpenAI module on my system, on my project. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the library in my Node project, and I'm going to create a client using the API key that I have already obtained by creating an account with OpenAI and by creating an environment variable in my system with this name that contains the key. This is something, it's practice, it's very good practice because it keeps the key safe and you don't have to share it in code or you don't have to version it. The reasons why this is useful, I also have a video on how to get your OpenAI key. There will be another card popping up in the corner of this video, so make sure you check it out, all right? And then what I have added to the code before is I have added a whole chunk where we're basically going to go file by file, and we're going to do the following. For each one of the files, we're going to load the file, and we're going to convert it to what's called a base 64 format. That's basically taking the binary representation of the image and then turning it into a bunch of digits, numbers, and characters so that it's easier to transfer as a JSON file. And then we're actually going to send that request to ChatGPT. What that means is that using the client chat completions API, this video is being recorded in July of 2024. If you're watching this in the future, maybe you have to change a few things, but ChatGPT can actually handle vision. So that's why we use the chat completions one. And as of this recording, we're going to be using the GPT-4o model. If you're watching this from the future, you're probably at ChatGPT 5, 6, 6 Pro. I have no idea where we're going with this, right? And the message that we want to send is going to start as a very simple message. The question that I'm going to ask to ChatGPT with text is, what is in this image that I'm sending you here, right? And then the rest of the content is going to be the image as a base 64 image, all right? What does this mean? It means that I am sending to ChatGPT, I am sending this base 64 blob that I have created here, all right? Now, because the response might be quite large, I'm actually cranking up the maximum tokens that I'm asking ChatGPT to give me. And then after that, for the time being, at this stage, I'm just simply going to dump the response here on the screen, okay? And see how that works. So I'm going to clear my screen and I'm going to say node parse receipts, and I'm going to see what's going on. So I basically just sent the request, but because the images are so high resolution and so high in quality, I have not post-processed them at all. It's going to take quite some time. Right now, it basically took, what did it take? It took 12 seconds to complete. And it's probably going to cost me like 1 or 2 cents every time I do this. But you can see that it's already working. So I'm going to stop this. And you can see that for the first image, which was this one, you can see that I get the address. This is the receipt of a Shell gas station. Very good. This is the address. So you can see that the address is correct. How many gallons? 11,797, which is also good. Total fuel sale, $38.92. So that's also good. So it's looking like it's working. It's looking like it's working well. You can see that it's looking like it's working well. So what about the second receipt? The next one. This is an image from a Shell gas station located at blah, blah, blah. And the total amount was 11 gallons and 350, so that's good. The transaction was $40.05, so that's good. So it's looking great, right? However, and this is the important part, I want you to notice something. I want you to notice that, and I'm going to maximize this, the ChatGPT, because it doesn't quite have memory from one request to the other, what it's basically doing is that it's giving me responses in formats that are very different from each other. So for example, the first response, it gave me a response in this kind of format where it basically gave me a one line per item, right, of the concept that I want to extract from this receipt. But for the second one, it just gave me this kind of paragraph not a line-by-line situation where the information is still there. You have the address, you have the gallons, you have the price, but the format is very different. So if what I want is to end up with a CSV file that looks something like this, something where the data is very structured and very homogeneous, etc., then getting these responses in this kind of like whatever format decided by ChatGPT is not quite going to work. So what I need to do is I need to prime ChatGPT, or in other words, I need to bias ChatGPT, or in other words, I need to be very, very specific in asking ChatGPT to give me the information that I want in a very, very specific format. So I actually need to write a much more elaborate prompt where I'm going to ask ChatGPT exactly what I want, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me what I want in a very, very specific format so that I can parse it properly. All right. What that looks like is going to require a little bit of prompt engineering. You may have heard that concept before. So let me show you what prompt engineering in this particular case is going to look like. All right, beautiful. So this is arguably the most interesting part of this work. So what does that mean? In the example that I wrote this overly complicated prompt. Okay, what is the prompt? The prompt is something like this. You are parsing car gas receipts. You are provided with the image of a receipt and you need to extract the following information from it. Date, gas station name, gas station address, gallons, price per gallon, total price, and blah, blah, blah. You will return the extracted information in a JSON object, including confidence score for each. So here I went a little overboard with this. I think we will build up towards this. But for the time being, I think for the example that I want to build, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me the information that I want in a simpler format. And then we will ask for the JSON format. Okay, so what is that going to look like? So I'm going to go here, design, engineer a prompt that asks for the relevant information and forces ChatGPT to format that information in a structured way. All right. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to say you are parsing gas car receipts. You are provided the image of a receipt and you need to extract the following information from the date, gas station name, gas station name, gallons and price per gallon, and total price. And total gallons. Okay, so then here the text is going to be the prompt. And if we do that, let's see what do we get. So node parse receipts, requesting image. Here the structured information, gallons. And I'm going to actually stop respond with the full response. Yeah, I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to date, gallons, price per gallon, and total price. And and the receipt is still here. Okay. And I'm going to stop right here. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to record a video now. Check out what I just did. So I've created a new variable. I'm calling this prompt. And in the prompt, I'm going to ask very, very specifically about what I want. And I'm also going to prime ChatGPT by telling ChatGPT the role that I want it to take. So look at what I'm doing here. I'm saying you are parsing car gas receipts. So this is what you're doing. You are provided the image of a receipt, and I need you to extract the following information from it. And I'm going to be very explicit about it. I want the date, I want gallons, I want the price per gallon, and I want the total price. All right? And then the only thing that I have replaced is that in the text prompt, instead of asking, what is this image that I'm sending you, I have included this prompt. If I run this, I'm going to get the following information. So I just did that. And for the first 4 receipts, look at what I got. I actually got something very reasonable, which is here is the information. And let me remind you of the first receipt. It was this one, right? So the first one was the date is correct, the gallons are correct, the price per gallon is correct, and then the total price also is. And I'm going to assume that for the following ones, it's also going to be pretty correct. So 43.18 and 42.30. You can see that it's kind of working, all right? It's actually working pretty well. Now, this is a bit more homogeneous than what we had before, but still, if I now wanted to use code to extract information from all of this, you can see that there will be a lot of cleanup and a lot of post-processing that I would need to do. I would need to, for example, I don't really care about any of this. Here's the extracted information. Then there's all this like asterisk stars that is probably some kind of like markdown annotation. Then there's all these new line characters. Sometimes I'm getting this weird G, sometimes I'm not getting G. So it would require like quite a significant amount of cleanup. So it turns out that I can even be more explicit to ChatGPT and say, hey, you know what? You're going to give me the information that I'm asking for, but I actually want it in a very, very particular format with these very particular rules. And then I'm going to try to have ChatGPT be the one who cleans up all this information and gives me like a very lean, very clean object that then I can parse very easily. So let's see, how would we do that? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, I'm going to write this. You will return the extract information in a, you will return the extract information using the following schema. And then as I'm going to be here, date, and it's going to be a string in year, month, the format, gallons as a float, price per gallon as a float, and total price as a float. All right, beautiful. So I'm going to now run this code again, and let's see what we get. Okay. All right, so it's kind of working. One of the best ways to structure this information is to ask for a JSON object as part of the response. A JSON object, as you probably already know if you're watching this video, is basically this object that is made up of key value pairs, where we have a key that is telling us what the information is, so date, gallons, price per gallon, total price, and then we have the value, which is whatever is going to be included and attached to that key. So turns out that ChatGPT, it has been trained on tons of human text, but it had also been trained on tons of computer code. So ChatGPT is actually pretty good at JSON formats. So what we can do is we can very explicitly ask ChatGPT, I want you to return the information in a JSON object. And I want you to use the following schema. Schema is basically a way of saying the template for the JSON file that I want you to return to me. So that's going to be date, and I want you to give me that as a string. And I'm actually asking ChatGPT to give me the string in year, month, and date format to make my life a little easier. So I want the gallons as a number, I want the price per gallon as a number, and the total price as a number as well. If you do that, I just run the request, and I did get something like this. So for the first image, I got something that now is getting closer to what I want. So you can see that I get the date, the gallons, the price per gallon, I get it as a JSON file, and I'm not getting the G numbers, etc., etc. But I can also see that the second attempt, ChatGPT went a little off the road and was like, yeah, based on the information that you gave me, this is what I found, and here's the JSON object with the extracted information. And then it gives me the JSON object, but after a lot of this kind of explanatory text as well. All right. Another thing that I want you to notice is that the JSON object is not given to me just as an object, just as a JSON string, but it actually has all this weird stuff which is these 3 backslashes and then this word JSON on top of it, and is closed by these 3 backslashes as well. This is actually what's called markdown annotation, which is a way of writing code for HTML rendering that is very popular in the world, but is an annotation that is also going to be very unuseful for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to improve the prompt, and we're actually going to ask ChatGPT to give us like a clean JSON with nothing on it, no decoration, no explanations, no markdowns. Let me write that request for you here. All right, so here do not include markdown formatting, do not include any explanatory, do not include new line, dollar, or other symbols. Stick to strings and numerical notation. Make sure that the JSON object is valid. All right, so I'm going to run this again. And let's see if it works. It's kind of working, yes. All right, sounds good. So this is what I added to our prompt. What you can see now is that I'm trying to constrain the freedoms of ChatGPT by telling it to not include markdown formatting in the response. I do not want any explanatory notes like, hey, this is what I'm giving you, blah, blah, blah. I don't want any new line characters, dollar characters, and other symbols. Any new line character, dollar, or other symbols. Stick to strings and numerical notation. So I just want like the cleanest notation that you can give me, and make sure that the JSON object is valid. By doing that, I have obtained something like this. As you can see, each response is now much cleaner. It looks like it's really sticking to the JSON format. It's not giving me weird characters anywhere, except for the new line character, which it's still giving me as part of the JSON, but actually cleaning that up is something that it's very easy to do. Okay, so I think with that, I am ready to now take this JSON information and then be able to turn it into and be able to save it somewhere and then turn it into a CSV file. So let's take a look at how to implement that. Alrighty. So parse images with ChatGPT. So so I'm going to create here I'm going to create here what is it going to be? I'm going to call it JSON data. I'm going to call it data, and it's going to be an array. And for each one of these, I'm going to get the response, I'm going to get the message, and then I'm going to parse the response and store the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say JSON string. So that's going to be response choices, content, and there's no text here. So JSON parse and let parsed data actually wait. So I'm going to try here to parse the data, and if this was successful, I'm going to just push the parsed data. Okay, otherwise, failed to parse JSON. And that was the JSON string. No text here. There you go. Beautiful. So I'm going to push that data, and then after I have finished that, I'm going to now save that information to a JSON file. Save the data to a local JSON file. So parse receipts.json, but I want to include the name. So now direct name, and that's going to be, it's going to be now underscore parse receipts. All right. Okay. JSON stringify data null. Okay, I think this should be good. And then data saved to, okay. And let's see if this works actually. Oh, but I need to parse data, push, and then image is going to be files, and then data is parse data. Okay. Sure. Image time, request time, ignite date. Yeah, well, you can do that. So let's do it. So let's run it. So node parse.receipts, and then, hey Jay, how you doing, Nicholas? Hey Jay, hello everyone. So I'm going to do that. Undefined is not valid JSON. What? JSON parse? Okay, what are we doing here? Because we're still doing text. No text. No, no, no. What? Oh boy, what is going on here? Why is this not working? Expected property name or in JSON at position 1. Wait, what? Let me see. Why is this not working? So const JSON string is going to be equal to this. Const JSON equals JSON parse JSON string. Is ChatGPT JSON string? Why is this undefined? I might not be, yeah, because it's not an array. Okay. I think that might be the problem. There's no array there. Yes. Okay, looks like it's working. Beautiful. Okay, it's working. All right. Civil engineering want to learn computational design? Yes, as Mehrat saying, this is a pretty good place to start. I would suggest the Introduction to Parametric Modeling playlist. That's a pretty good place if you want to learn 3D modeling from a computational standpoint. Or if you want to learn how to code, maybe you can start with the Learning C# playlist. You can find those playlists here in the channel. How are we doing there? We're not getting any errors. Okay. And how close are we? Very interesting. I already started that series. Yes. And it's taking a while, huh? That data saved to blah, blah, blah parse receipts. Okay, and then if we open that, yoo-hoo! It's looking great. So now we have the data in JSON format. Right? Beautiful. Fantastic. So that's looking awesome. So what was new? So we found it. Okay, so here. So yes, so we didn't really change anything here. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. So let me show you how I did it. So I'm going to scroll down all the way to where we receive the parse response from ChatGPT. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, if you remember, the data is under content. So I'm going to go to response, choices, message, content. I'm going to take that string and then I'm going to try, and this is very important, I'm going to try to parse that JSON string into an actual object that is native to JavaScript. And then if that worked well, what I'm going to do is I'm to this new data array that I have created, I'm going to push a new object. I'm going to push a new object that is going to be this object. It's going to be the file name. It's going to be the requisition time. So when did the request go through? And then inside of the data, I'm going to add this parse data object, okay, which is everything that we have just obtained, okay. And the reason why I'm using the try catch clause is that sometimes ChatGPT may just not do a fantastic, perfect job. And the JSON string that it might give us back may have some weird characters, may have something off, and then the conversion from a string of characters to an actual perfectly formatted and valid JSON object may not succeed. In that case, I have added here a message like, hey, just print to the console that something went wrong. Okay, but in that case, we basically would just miss that receipt. We would not parse it correctly. Correct. So, and then, but if everything went well after the for loop where we go over each one, then what we do now is we just basically write to a file called parse receipts. We're gonna stringify and write the whole data array into that file. So what does that look like? Look at what I've done. So I ran this before. It took like a good 2 or 3 minutes, but it went through the whole thing. For each receipt, it created the request. It obtained a JSON object with the date, the gallons, the total price, etc., etc. And then after we finished with each one of the images, the data was saved to this file. So I'm adding a what's called a timestamp. So the timestamp to the name of the file so that if we do this multiple times, the files don't overwrite each other. And this file looks something like this. You can see that now I have a very nice and clean JSON file, which starts with an array. And then the array has a collection of objects, each object being the name of the image, when the time of the requisition was done, and then the data, which has been parsed by ChatGPT in the form of a date that is a string and a bunch of numbers representing the gallons, the price per gallon, and the total price. So at this point, I feel satisfied and I feel complete, and I think we have succeeded in parsing all these receipts and parsing all the data and obtaining a systematic, uniform data structure that contains all this part information. And as a programmer, I'm actually very happy to have this information in JSON file, in a JSON file. However, I understand that many people, or if you're going to share this information with someone else, I understand that sharing it in a non-JSON format, something like, for example, a CSV file, might be more useful to other people who don't have perhaps the expertise or the knowledge for parsing JSON information, reading JSON information, or in other words, people who might be more familiar with tabular data, with data that is just in a table with the rows, and every row is an entry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to write another very quick script that is going to read this file, and then it's going to turn it into a CSV file. Okay, so let's do that then. So I'm going to write here, I'm going to create a new file, and it's going to be JSON receipt data to CSV, for example. And actually, this is going to be a JSON file. I'm going to open this here, and I'm going to do what? What am I going to do here? I'm going to what am I going to do? I'm going to paste a bunch of so here I'm going to say cls npm install fast CSV, and then this script is I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me here. It's going to read a JSON file. The script this script is going to read is going to read a JSON file with an array of objects and write to a CSV file. The input JSON looks like this, and then I'm just going to write something like this, and then here, and then this is going to be a string. This is going to be a string data. This is going to be also a string. This is going to be a float, and damn it, I'm making a mess with the formatting here. The output will have the following, yes, the output will have image. Okay, the file name is the file name will be the first argument in the command line. Okay, yes, and then this is going to go here, all the way here. Okay, all right. So check if the file name is provided. If okay, all right. Read the JSON file. File name process data UTF. Okay. Write the CSV file. File create CSV write data pipe. I'm finished. This is not gonna work. CSV format header stream. Actually, I'm going to remove all of this. And I'm going to now integrate parsed data like this. And maybe that works. npm parse receipts. I'm going to parse them again so that, and create file stream, CSV write, and data, CSV format. Export CSV, okay. CSV stream, CSV format headers true, file stream, create a write stream, CSV file, and CSV file is going to be replaying JSON. Oh, I like that. And then CSV stream, pipe on end, process exit. And then data for each item, CSV write item, and then CSV stream dot end. Yeah. All right. I wonder if this works. This is mostly written by ChatGPT. All right. So I see some conversation about the Discord server on the chat. The link is in the description of this video. You can't paste the link on the chat. YouTube will not allow you to post links on chats because it's dangerous or whatever, you know? So, okay, so now we have this. All right. And then I'm going to try to run this. I'm going to run, so node receipt data to, and then blah, blah, blah. Oh, did it work? Yoo-hoo! It worked. Nice. I can't believe that worked in just one go. That typically doesn't work, especially with ChatGPT stuff. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so then let's record that part of the video. So here's what it looks like. So I have created a new script on my Node project that is called receipt data to CSV. And then I have basically used Copilot to help me write most of this. So I have imported a new library called fastcsv. Remember, you can do that by npm install fastcsv, and then you could import that module into your Node project. And then to Copilot, I say, I want something like this. I want you to read a JSON file and give me a CSV. So I did that. And then the way it works right now is that the name of the file that I want to convert is going to be part of my command line call. So what I'm doing here is I am reading the file name that I want to convert from the arguments that are passed to this script. I will show you how that looks like. Then I'm going to parse that with a JSON parser. And then I'm going to export all of that as a CSV. So I'm basically creating the name of the file for the CSV. Then I'm creating a stream of data writing. And then for each item in the data that I have parsed from the JSON, I am sending that item to be written by the CSV writer. The CSV writer then takes the name of the key, it takes the value of the property, and it creates all the CSV automatically. So it's like very convenient because you don't have to do it manually. And the way we run this script is basically by running this. So node receipt to data.csv, and then it's going to take the name of the file as an argument. So you can see that right there, I have typed the name of the JSON. And then as I do this, it's almost instant. And then you can see that in my folder, I now have a CSV file that if I double click, it's going to look something like this. Now you can see that I have a very clean CSV file with the image, with the requisition time, with the date, the gallons, price per gallon, something very tabular that will then be super easy to just feed into some kind of, I don't know, we can plot a graph with dates and the price of gasoline across the different rates. I don't know. You know, that then you can do whatever you want with this kind of structure. It makes things very easy at this point. All right. So what do we want to do now? Do I want to finish here? Or do I want to finish here, or do I want to say anything else? I think I'm just going to show what the prompt that I've used on my own and the CSV that it gave me. Okay. Before we finish, I want to show you what other possibilities you can have here. Because remember, the receipt actually does have a lot of information. So in our script, we've basically only looked at the gallons, the price per gallons, the total price, and the date. But there's actually a lot of stuff that you can extract from this ticket. So in the version that I did for myself, I really wanted to nerd out. So in the prompt to ChatGPT, I was actually giving it a very exhaustive schema of how I wanted the data to be given to me. So I wanted the date, and I wanted also a confidence score on the date. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, but machine learning, whenever it gives you a prediction, the machine learning does have a degree of confidence of how strongly it believes that the prediction is correct. right? So in order to measure the correctness of the data that I was getting, I was interested in asking ChatGPT for a degree of confidence. I actually don't know if this works truly and if it's giving me the real confidence score for each one of those markers, but it was an attempt that I did. I also wanted the time. I wanted the time in Unix form. I wanted the gas station name, the address, the gallons, the price per gallon, the total price, and the credit card digits. I also included that as part of the request. And then I did get something like this. So you can see that the data CSV that I obtained was a bit more exhaustive. It had more data. It had the gas name. It had the address. So you can see that pretty much most of the time I'm going to the gas station that is next to my house, right? And then some other information, the card digits, etc. And interestingly, something else that I did was I included a certain kind of let's call it like a safety check, because because some of the data that is related in these tickets is actually related to each other. So, for example, if we know from the receipt that the price per gallon is $3.7 and then we got 11.2 gallons, then it clearly follows that the total price that we get should be a multiplication of the price per gallon by how many gallons we got, right? And if that is not the case, then one of the three numbers is wrong. So what I did was, somewhere in the code, I included like a check. So give me in my data, give me the multiplication of the number of gallons and the price per gallon and the total price, and compare it to total price. What I did that was, and then I added a new column called total price is valid. And then whether if this is, and this was not something that I asked to ChatGPT, this is actually a manual calculation that I did in my script as a way to reinforce, to make sure that the parsing of the data was actually correct, okay? Beautiful. So from here, there's just so many things you can do. I implemented this for gas receipts, but you could do this for groceries. You could do this for clothes shopping. You can do this for your Amazon receipts. You can do this for many things, and you can start to analyze like large collections of physical data, but just taking photos of it and just using ChatGPT to smartly parse through those photos and extract whatever information is meaningful to you. So as you have seen in these videos, I have not gone through every detail of every line of code just because I wanted to make the example and the video a bit leaner. But if you're actually interested in seeing how I wrote the code and my thinking process as I was creating those scripts, you're more than welcome to check the live stream where I recorded this video, which and there will be like a card popping up on the corner of this video, and there will also be a link to that live stream here in the description of this video. Do I need to say anything else? Am I missing something? I don't know. I think we should be good. Okay, then let's close up the video. Oh, this code is on the parametric cam channel. And also, just a friendly reminder, there is a copy of all this code and all these scripts in our parametric camp GitHub. So there should also be a link to where you can find this code. If you didn't want to follow through and copy from the video, you can just download all the code from our parametric camp GitHub. Just remember that if you download it before you actually run anything, you will need to go and say npm install so that you download the modules on your system before you can actually run anything. Okay? So beautiful. I hope you had fun watching this video. I hope it triggered your curiosity. I hope Now you want to try running this script with some receipts that you may collect yourself. And if you do, please, 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 please let us know if you did anything cool with this by responding to, by leaving a message here in this video, by joining our Discord and showing us what you did. I would be super happy if you actually figured out something cool to do with this new technique that you may have learned from this video. All right? Beautiful. Well, with that, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you found it fun, interesting, whatever, maybe consider liking it, subscribing to the channel, saying hi, and all those things. All right? Thank you very much, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so what do I want to do now? Receipt parser. All right, so I need to record the introduction video. Okay. All right. So how do I start? I just wrote a script that after running it, maybe I can parse receipts. I'm just gonna request 3, and then we can record that as part of the video. All right. So here, yes. All right, I need to record. I'm trying to record the introduction. Yes. Okay, here, like this. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another video in our series Let's Have Fun with AI, or perhaps for this particular video, let's really nerd out with our OCD with artificial intelligence. Because what I want to do in this video is, have you ever collected a stash of receipts from your grocery store, your local gas station or whatever, and you have wondered, could I take all these receipts and extract meaningful information and create some kind of data visualization with how much money am I spending every month on groceries or something like that? So, surprise, surprise, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So in this video, what I did was I took this pile of gas receipts that I get whenever I go to the gas station and I fill the tank of my car. And then what I did was I used the Vision API in OpenAI. So at the time of the recording of this video in July 2024, ChatGPT has the capacity to see images and to understand images. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this API, and we're basically going to write a script that is going to go over a bunch of images in our system. So those images are going to be a collection of receipts that I have scanned with my phone, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask ChatGPT to look at each one of those images and to give us the meaningful information that we want to extract from those receipts. That's going to be the dates, the gallon, the price per gallon, by running a for loop and sending a request to ChatGPT with each one of the images in our file system. We're going to get responses from ChatGPT that looks something like this. It's going to give us the data that we want. We're going to save all that data in a large array of JSON objects, and then we're going to write like a very simple script that is going to take that JSON object and is going to turn it into something that is a bit easier to read for people who are not computer programmers, which is going to be a CSV file or something that looks pretty much like this. A table with each column for a date, the gallons, the price per gallon, and the total price of each one of the receipts that I have scanned with my phone. So if you're interested in seeing how to implement this, which is actually very, very easy, so feel free to continue to this video. And just a word of warning, in this video, as opposed to the ones that I typically have in my channel, I'm actually not going to code everything from scratch. I'm not going to describe every single line. I'm just going to describe the overall process that I followed in order to achieve this goal, so that the video is a little shorter. But if you're actually interested in the nitty-gritties of every single line of code that I wrote in order to get there, I recommend that you check the live stream where I recorded this video. There's going to be a link to that live stream in the description of this video, but also one popping up in the corner. There was also going to be a card popping up in the corner of this video as of right now. Over there. All right, beautiful. So let's get hands-on and nerd out with computer vision that is aided by OpenAI's ChatGPT. All right. How did that look like? How did it feel? Did you like it? Not? I'm actually quite excited about this example. I thought it was really cool. So, okay. So with that, I think I'm going to, I wonder how much money I've spent in doing all of this. Ooh, $43. All right, with all the requests, I have spent half a dollar. That's not terrible. All right. Okay, beautiful. And so I think we're good with that. So what do I want to do now? What do I want to do now? What do I want to do now? I think I'm done for the day, probably, right? Yes, I'm done for the day. So what? I'm done for the day. Yes, so I think that's going to be it. I'm going to edit the video right now and publish it next week. And I hope this was fun. Yeah, and I hope everyone a nice weekend. I am definitely going to try to have one. I'm going to go scuba diving a lot this weekend. So that should be really nice. Thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure. And see you next week, probably. I think this video was a one-off, but I think we're ready to start like a more significant series of themed videos. I think I'm going to start thinking about what is the next playlist that we're going to put together in this channel. Okay? All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, and see you on the next videos. Bye.